Look around and embrace the individuals who are with you today. As we know, spiritually and metaphysically, individual means undivided. Undivided from the whole. So all of the beings who are here are undivided from the power and the presence, the love, the beauty, and the intelligence of God, Almighty God, all beauty, God, all joy. We're all springing from the source of all creation, which is luminosity and brilliance and intelligence. Look at the sweet being sitting right next to you, and your surface mind might be saying, I don't know if they're that sweet. But listen, underneath this, there we are, there is divine sweetness right there, and it is your job to see it. Look at that being next to you and just say, my. There is such beauty radiating from you. There's such power radiating from you. Intelligence, abundance, harmonizing prosperity, pure joy, bliss, and ecstasy. And you have come to set it free, that we may make a mighty difference on this planet and change the world for the better. Let's be about this together in the here and now, and so it is. Amen. Touch and agree. Give that love mate a hug, a high five, a handshake, a sweet glance, and just feel the dynamic field that's being created here. Everyone who has been to Agape for a while know that I love to talk about the fact that we're affected by fields all the time, and that these fields can't be seen by the sensorium, by the senses. You're being affected to a degree by the gravitational field, by the electromagnetic field. Some of you are affected by the lunar field that allowed the tides to rise and allowed a lot of you to lose sleep because of the energy of the moon the other night. But there was a field of love and beauty and intelligence that's being created right here and right now, allowing us to come to an awareness that we're living and moving and having our beingness in the presence of God. That is the transcendent yet immanent field that you're now co-creating through your meditation, your prayer, your affirmation, your spiritual camaraderie, your singing, your chanting, your intentionality being amplified by your attentionality. We're in a field of love and beauty and intelligence. In this month, we've been embracing this sacred theme of the order in the chaos. And we've come to an understanding this month that there is an underlying order, because there's an outpicturing of something called the universe, not a triverse, not a diverse, but a multidimensional universe that never compromises nor contradicts itself, and that energy is never created or destroyed. It's always consciously transmuting to higher and higher frequencies. So there's always an underlying order behind every seeming chaos. We have come to an understanding this month that if you back up far enough from any sense of chaos, you'll see an order that is emerging. All of you, as I mentioned last week, are fields of emergent fields. And sometimes emergencies are the way by which the progressive universe allows the next stage to emerge, thus letting go of any sense of stagnation in our being. And so, as we talked about a little bit last week, when we understand emergence, we understand that the acorn gives way to the oak tree. The oak tree emerges from the acorn. The acorn doesn't cause it. The oak tree emerges from it. And you, being a field of emergence, are allowing the great love, the great beauty, the great joy, the great abundance, the great wellness, the great completeness to emerge as the activity of your awareness. We've come to understand that the acorn that became an oak tree is simply a nut that stood its ground, that allowed for the greatness to come through. And all of you are nuts. Now, nuts means never underestimate the spirit. That is what nuts is. And so just say, I'm nuts. I'm nuts. I never underestimate the spirit. And so as individuals who are nuts, individuals who never underestimate the Spirit. We are standing our holy ground so that that which is within us can emerge with an ease, a grace, a dignity, a nobility, a celebratory, vibratory frequency, orgasmic and ecstatic, allowing the great God of the universe to move through us in ways beyond our wildest imaginings. And so today you have arrived under the aegis of the topic, a small box inoculation. It is a must. I did say box, I didn't say pox. Small box inoculation. In other words, individuals have the tendency, unknowingly, unwittingly at times, to live in very small boxes of how they see reality. And in that small box, they produce perception. In that small box, that perception then produces experience, and then individuals rail against the experiences and do not realize that the experience is a subset of the little box that they're living in. You have come to be inoculated from small boxism by taking a small box vaccine. Your prayer and your meditation, your visioning, your sacred service is the vaccine that you take that inoculates yourself from the limited point of view. Now, often that small box that individuals live in have a tendency to emerge from a false or temporary origin and story. Now, there is an origin story. Individuals will sometimes live within an origin story that's not quite absolute, that's not quite real. You think about African Americans, their origin story was not slavery. You think about Jewish people, their origin story is not the Holocaust. You think about Native Americans, their origin story is not the invasion of people on their soil. And you think about yourself, your origin story is not your parents. There is an origin story that transcends time and space. And that origin story is that you're shot from eternity. You were shot from the mind of God. You were shot from brilliance and ecstasy and beauty and intelligence. And when you begin to embrace that through prayer and meditation, that origin story allows for you to let go of the small boxism that you're living in and thus fighting biological and family dynamics, historical dynamics that may have happened to your people or ancestors. Instead, you're going through the original story. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word is God. There is nothing created without the vibratory frequency of the Word of God. When you catch that dynamic origin, not merely in theory, not a hypothesis, not a theory, not simply a belief system, but in that instant of absolute knowing that your life is the life of God, then you transcend the temporary origin stories. Something called a healing happens. Something called revelation happens. And through practice of meditation and visioning and forgiveness, your small boxism begins to explode, and you begin to see yourself as you were seen by the presence of the Most High God. You begin to have a great understanding. Are you catching what I'm vibrationally putting down here? Are you feeling this? Because oftentimes when we think about ourselves, we look at ourselves historically only. We do not mitigate what has happened on a historical level. We just put it in its proper place. And so oftentimes when people think of black people, they think of slavery. They do not go to Africa, and they do not go beyond Africa. Mind of God. They think about Jewish people, they think about Holocaust. They don't go beyond Holocaust, and they don't go beyond the eternal, into the eternal presence. Everybody is locked within the small boxism of their self historically. Or as I said earlier, you think about yourself and you think about your family dynamic, and then if you go unconscious, you will replicate your family dynamic in your workplace. You'll replicate your family dynamic everywhere that you go because you have forgotten what your soul has never forgotten, that you've never been born, you will never die, and you must open yourself up to this possibility to be the activity of your awareness. And so in order to augment your awareness of this dynamic presence, you begin, one, by not allowing what you think you don't have to blind you to what you do have. That is a spiritual practice. And oftentimes when you are in a small box, you allow for what you think you don't have in life right now to blind you to what you do have. And what you must do as a spiritual practice is lead with what you do have and the blessings that you do have to build the foundation of the vision shot from eternity, pulled you into an expression of more good than you could possibly imagine. This is where you must live, you see? And again, this is spiritual practice. When you are in the static of separation, when you're mentally, emotionally tired, when you are caught up in the origin stories of time and space and bombarded by the world, you get caught up in what is called normal thinkingness, and that is you lead with what you don't have. And then it creates a blindness that Jesus the Christ talked about. They have eyes, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not, because they're caught up in the static of the blindness of what they think they don't have. Not you, not here, not now. You're stepping out and understanding that every breath you take is a breath of gratitude. Every beating of your heart is life seeking to express itself more through you. So you begin to lead with the vibration of everything that you have. And of course, you have it all. You may not have manifested it yet. You may not have caught the vision of it yet, but you have it all. And as you begin to walk in the world with the awareness of I've got it all, everything I need and want and hope for and desire, I'm living with it. So that even when you begin to be emotionally tired, the fallback space will be, I can't see it right now, but I'm grateful for it anyway. I can't see it. Or I can't feel it right now, but I know it is here. Because oftentimes people get caught up in what they're emotionally feeling and thinking that it's reality. No, 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 no. When you begin to transcend through spiritual practice, you understand the difference between truth, facts, and opinions. Ultimately, there is truth with a capital T. In the beginning is a presence. Before the beginning of time, there's a presence, the truth of love and beauty and intelligence and life itself, unalterable existence, capital T, truth. We are eternally connected in a union and communion with the presence of God. The love, the peace, the joy, the wisdom, the harmony, and the abundance is already here. Even though I can't see it or feel it right now, it is the truth of my being. That's the highest level that you are practicing at as a metaphysician, leading yourself into the realms of mysticism, oneness with God consciously. And then the next lower level, of course, is facts. And that is, there are certain facts that have happened, certain facts in your life, but sometimes the facts don't square with the truth. Sometimes there is a fact that there is a dis-ease or a discord in the body temple, but that's not the truth of your being. The truth of your being is that there's a wholeness and completeness there that's temporarily covered up with thinkingness and belief that has transmuted itself into disease. And so sometimes you don't want the facts to be a burden to you. And then from facts, individuals who are unconscious then develop the tributaries of opinions about the facts, positionalities about the facts. They develop all manner of points of view about the facts. Oh, and that's the lowest level that you can live as a human being. Opinionated, and this is where know-it-allism comes in. You know, and if you put on the hat of know-it-allism, you will block out the truth, because the truth is infinite, and you can't know it all with your puny mind. I'm talking about the individual egoic mind. If you become a know-it-all, then you hinder the truth from shocking and surprising you with brilliance and ecstasy and guidance and wisdom and direction shot from beyond your experience. In other words, beyond your experiential realm, there is a sacred truth of the eternal wanting to know itself as your very life. So there's truth, there are facts, and there are opinions. And of course, our mind has been hijacked by alternative facts during our time in our human history right now, where individuals just shift up the facts and change things and things of that particular nature. So we have to be very wary. And in order to stay alert, we go to the absolute truth. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, love. In the beginning, peace and abundance. We hang out there. It transcends and transmutes the thought forms so that we are in this world of craziness, but we are of the truth, and we become beacons of light and liberty and joy and harmony and well-being. Now, when you put all of that together and you begin to understand that back of all seeming chaos, there is an emergence of more good trying to happen through you. When you put all of that together, and you begin to be aware that there's a real origin story that bypasses the history of your particular ethnicity, bypasses your human family dynamic. I'm talking about real spiritual practice here, not just a little one and done simple affirmation in the morning, but a getting down like spiritual James Brown. I'm going to stay with this prayer until I know that I know for real. When you get down like that, then your history then reveals the mystery of a life that has never been hurt, harmed, or endangered in any way, shape, or form. When you put all of this together and do not allow yourself to be blinded by what you think you don't have and begin to be grateful for what you do have, you come to a great understanding that right this moment, this second, you are being prepared by the universal presence and its laws to receive what you are asking for. You are in deep preparation. You've asked for a lot. You have secret prayers. You have stuff within your heart and soul that you want to give to the world, that you want to share. There are healings that you want to experience. There's connection with God. There's gifts that you want to share right now. And so when you align yourself with the truth, not just the facts, not just your opinions about the facts, but when you align yourself with the truth, an inner preparation begins to happen. Much like the seed going into the soil, there's a preparation in which the soil is tilled, and there's fertilizer, and there's water, and there's nutrients, and there's sunlight, and there's affirmation by the farmer, until there's a breakup of that seed. And then there's an emergence of that which is within the seed. And so you look at all of that, and you realize in this moment, you're being prepared to receive what you've been asking for. And if you're honest with yourself, you know that if you were to receive what you were asking for before you were prepared, you would lose it. You wouldn't recognize it. You would mess it up. You would sabotage it because you wouldn't have enough love, enough self-love and appreciation. You wouldn't have enough self-worthiness. You wouldn't be able to have the container strong enough to hold that field of dynamic prosperity, wealth, and abundance, and joy, and health, and harmony, and happiness. You would blow the whole thing. And so the universe is preparing you. So every single day, instead of being in a deep sense of impatience, you step into an awareness of, today I'm being prepared for more good than I can imagine. My energetic field is becoming more and more strong. My etheric field, my subtle bodies, my physical body, all of my bodies are now do not have leaky margins. They're not leaking all over the place. I can have a coherent thought about my oneness with the presence of God. I can have a coherent thought about forgiveness. I can have a coherent thought about being here for God. And if you're here for the first time, we're not talking about an anthropomorphic man God in the sky that's capricious, that needs anger management. We're talking, as Carlton Pearson loves to say, we're talking about a presence that is never an absence, a formless, substantial presence of love and beauty and intelligence and all things good, when we become here for the presence of God, then we become inwardly prepared. And when we are able to hold more energy, your blessings cannot be stopped. It can't be stopped. Your blessings are not going to say, well, the economy, oh, they don't like me. Oh, I'm too tall, I'm too dark, I'm too straight, I'm too gay, I'm too this, I'm too that. Once that vibratory match is made and you are inwardly prepared, the blessings cannot be stopped. It is the will of God. It is the will of God to know itself as your very life. But we have to come into alignment with it. And oftentimes people are praying for God to come into alignment with you. Heaven forbid that God come into alignment with your puny, anemic prayers, with your little small visions, with your small ways of trying to move into the world. No, you are to come into an alignment with the presence. And then there's an activation and a preparation. And the body temple, the mental body, the emotional body, all of these bodies have a level of coherence around the idea of unity. Leaking margins are stopped up. No more leakiness. Now you can fully carry the frequency of love and the frequency of beauty and the frequency of joy. And even when you're under pressure and even when things aren't going right, what comes out of your mouth is an affirmation. It's like, oh my God, life is good. I don't know why I'm saying it right now, but it's coming out of my mouth. I'm not feeling it right now, but it keeps oozing out of me that life is for me and nothing is against me. And as harder as life squeezes you, more and more and more of that divinity emerges from you. You're being prepared. Say with me right now, I'm being prepared. I am being vibrationally prepared. I'm falling in love with who I am. I'm falling in love with what I am. I'm falling in love with where I am. I'm falling in love with why I am. And those who have been matriculating through the classes here at Agape know what we're talking about here. The what is the presence of God. The who is an individualized expression of the what. The where, we're at the center of the universe right now. The center of the mind of God. The why, to reflect and to reveal the cosmos in a way that has never happened before. I know what I am. I know who I am. I know where I am. I know why I am. Now I'm able to hold more energy so that I will not sabotage the good that's trying to express through me. In other words, if you stop merely at mind power, and just stop at that level. Remember, that's an evolutionary arc from moving out of victimhood to understanding your mind power, to moving into a level of surrender and then a conscious level of oneness and unity. If you stop at mind power only, then, and you manipulate some kind of way to get what you think you need, you're going to have to keep on manipulating to keep it, you see, because you haven't yet yielded to it. The margin still may be a little leaky. You still may not have enough confidence, enough self-love and appreciation, enough power of forgiveness may not be moving through you. But if you transcend and come to the original origin story and do your inner work and then yield to the will of God is for a greater expression of life, and then you'll become prepared. And as blessings flow into your life, it's like breathing. It's like, that was easy. Ooh, oh my God. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm assimilating the shake I just drank. I don't even know how I'm doing it. But I had a shake. The body's assimilating it. I'm just letting it happen. It's pulling the nutrients, all the enzymes, all that rich synergy, and all that rich almond milk, all those rich avocados and blueberries, all that rich stuff. I ain't doing nothing but letting it be. Now, here's the deal. When you get into spiritual practice, that which I just described that I'm not doing consciously, the rest of your life comes under the aegis of that kind of excellence. So you don't have to know how, you have to know what. You let it happen. This is spiritual. This is not laziness. This is spiritual practice, you see. So hear this from the beginning. Now, I speak a little fast in the beginning because I have to bypass your opinionated mind. I have to get past, I don't know. What's he saying? Do I believe this? I don't know if I want to believe this. What's he saying? I don't know. You know how people are. They want to see if they agree with you. You're here to grow. You ain't here to agree. You're here to come in alignment with the truth. You see? And so I speak fast to get past the opinionated mind. And once that seed is planted, you start to have dreams of possibility. And in the beginning, those dreams look like nightmares because they're coming to destroy your old life. You see, oh my God, I had a dream I was dying. Yes, you are. That old self is dying so the new can be emerged. And then we slow it down a little bit. We slow it down and we modulate. And we say things like, you are here, students, to understand that there is an order in the chaos. That the chaos is a moment of when an emergence is taking place and the old structures are falling down so that the new can come forward. The universe is progressive because it is the outpicturing of an intelligence and an order and a love called the mind of God. And we are here to catch this brilliant order and release ourselves to it. We are to take the vaccine of to be inoculated against smallpoxism. So we're not living in these small boxes. I'm this, I'm that, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm black, I'm white, I'm straight, I'm merely human. Oh, I'm the son of my... Every little box carries its law. And those laws may be limiting. And so we expand until the origin story is, I'm shot from the presence. I'm having a human incarnation as a human being, but I am here to reveal the order of the universe through my beingness. And then I understand the difference between truth, facts, and my opinions about the facts. And I lead to the truth. That because ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Your opinion is not going to free you. It's gonna bind you to a little perception. I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. Please, 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 let the know-it-allism die in you. And let that which is right take over the presence. And then you do not allow the mind to blind you by concentrating on what you don't have and begin to embrace the blessings that you do have. So that you're living from that foundation, that becomes the foundation of a vision pulling you to a greater expression of life and living. And then you are anchoring the realm of ever-expanding good right here on earth. Are you picking this up? Are you getting this? Because if in truth you catch just a little bit of this, just a little bit, and you go home and you take something that hit you and you write it down and you look at it and then you sit with it. Let me understand this on a deeper level. Let me come to an understanding of this. You ask, you shall receive. You seek the depth of the meaning of it, you shall find it. You shall knock on the door of this. That door will be opened. And you find yourself growing and glowing with new possibilities. This is the truth that makes you free. You see, we don't want just a bunch of believers. No. We want people who are practicing and are having spiritual encounters, spiritual revelation. So you don't have to believe what anybody says because you've had a direct encounter with that which is real. Let's turn within in this moment. Let's feel it. Come with me. Let's turn within Let's catch this frequency of truth. Let's catch this frequency of the Most High. Let's catch this frequency of the presence of God. It has taken me over 40 years to tell you what I just told you. Nuance. So we turn within in this moment. And we just always like to begin with gratitude. It's a fine place to begin prayer. I give thanks because I know that thou hearest me always, is what he said. In other words, I give thanks that the law is going to respond to the frequency that I'm living in right now. That's what it means. I know that thou hearest me always. God doesn't have ears, so doesn't mean that. So it means that the sacred law is going to respond to the vibration that we're emitting. I'm so grateful that the presence responds to this sense of gratitude, this sense of thanksgiving and pure appreciation, that I may begin to recognize the presence that is everywhere. Say with me, if you will, I'm recognizing the presence. I am recognizing the presence of beauty and love, abundance and prosperity, intelligence and brilliance. As we're recognizing this presence everywhere, becoming so unified with the presence, there's a deep and an abiding communion that we have with the presence. Never separated, always one with God. It is from this awareness that the word is spoken. For each and every being here, knowing that in truth there's one being here that's revealing itself according to its infinite nature, no throwbacks, no repeats, all fully expressions of the presence of God. I get to speak the word, which is now a law unto itself, that only knows its own unfolding for each of us, that we may be free today, that the divine health and well-being may reign supreme, and that every organ, action, function of our body temple may be absolutely a revelation of health and harmony and wholeness and vitality and vigor and flexibility and ageless body and timeless mind. This is where we are living. We take that on. And we look to every area of our life. There's only one life, but we look to every area of our life, and the one life is revealing itself as dynamic harmony and prosperity. It's revealing itself as peace of mind. It's revealing itself as a sense of worthiness, a sense of nobility, a sense of self-respect, a sense of dignity. It's revealing itself as a sense of brilliance and dynamic excellence in every area of our life. All of our needs are met. It's revealing itself as eternity, shooting through all of our relations right here and right now, for we are not any longer interacting with each other. We are coming into the field of omni-activity. One God, one life, one presence, one being, revealing itself as each and every one of us. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Free today. Free today. Free today. Free today. Free today. Free today. Free right now. Free right now. Free. 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 Liberated. The vaccine is taken. We are inoculated from smallpoxism. Oh, feel into that right now as we move to pray for the individuals.
Somebody heard your pride. Somebody disappointed you. And somebody told you lies. Our hardest lessons are our greatest blessings. Love Yes, you
True.
will.
That's true. That's true. Take the hand of the being next to you as we allow this field of prayer to dominate our perception. We're in a field of prayer. Prayer is having a realization of that which we already have, either for ourselves or for someone else. So we're entering into this prayer field. I invite the licensed practitioners to rise up in this moment and to magnify the field of love and the beauty and intelligence. We stand together in this dynamic field. Hundreds of years of prayer and meditation are standing with me right now.